The first battle recreated here in this wonderful game is the Battle of Charlemont, involving an English shield wall going head-to-head with a bunch of French archers. You can probably tell how this one went. Yes, that's right, the French archers shot each other in the back. It was quite the show. France, having recently developed the boxing glove, thought it might be a relatively good ploy to introduce to their warfare, and it turned out to be relatively effective, to say the least. Lucky for England, a man could take an arrow straight through the face and carry on like nothing. Of course, left on his own to face the French archers, he was thoroughly turned to a pincushion. Blast. Here we see a very interesting tactic employed by the British during medieval warfare. It was a camouflage, if you will, line one catapult behind another so the enemy could only spot one of them. It was soon abandoned, however, as it was proved to be very, very silly. You see, there's a perfect example of this right now. You see, the catapults are just tearing each other apart. Another ploy that was rather questionable by the British was why they had to grasp onto the basket as the catapult flew. It required incredible dexterity in the fingers and resulted in a lot of nasty deaths. Frankly, the soldiers just didn't possess the skill. You know, I believe it was Henry VIII who suggested the tactic, and when his wife informed him that it might need some tinkering, he had a head cut off or something along those lines. The cannon. As soon as we figured out if you turned a firework on its side, you could kill someone with it, we developed cannons. Great thing about the cannon, you don't have to turn it on its side, and you can kill a hell of a lot more people with it. Oh yes, to be sure, cannons were a mighty fine invention. You could kill all sorts of people with shields. You could just kill. Just like that, see? Look, they're all dying, wonderful. Spears, also. You know spears, that less cool invention that's just a stick that's pointed. Yes, cannons tore those up too. Just as demonstrated here, you can see a nice group of spearmen being utterly plastered by hard balls. However, the problem with cannons soon became very much apparent. It arose when a general decided to put some of his blokes in front of them. Spoiler alert, a lot of them died. However, was it the end for Colonel Wenceslas? Did his troops manage to carry through the day regardless, even though they've been shot in the back by their own cannons? Well, that very question was answered in a later battle. Colonel Wenceslas once again led his troops, this time consisting of a large platoon of archers and 3 cannons, against a group of French shieldmen. Colonel Wenceslas, a confirmed opium addict, didn't learn his lesson, and once again, his archers were shot to shit. So many Englishmen were killed by friendly fire that some reports suggest the cannons were operated by undercover French spies. But hey, that remains undetermined. Of course, the French had a secret weapon, Jean Toucher, an incredibly brave Frenchman. Brandishing his shield in one hand, he infamously launched himself into British ranks, causing a hell of a lot of damage, mind you. Here we see the ballistae, performing their ritualistic tribal dance before firing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, they tipped the arrows with an explosive substance. I can't quite remember the name of it, but authentic as all hell, yes, they just detonated upon impact. It was rather gory. Do you guys like farmers? You know, those guys that plow and kill cows and all that stuff. Well, it's your lucky day. We had a battle involving them too. After many confirmed reports of them yelling, "Get off my land!" the French attacked regardless. More for them. There is nothing as deadly as a British farmer who has yet to have his afternoon pint armed with a pitchfork. After several months of having their grain taken by aggressive French troops, the farmers soon figured out they could stick some wood together, hammer it in place, and have a shield, which greatly helped against their charge against hundreds of fucking French archers. Initially, they tried to bring their tractors, but they got too much stick for driving too slowly on the main roads. Lucky for them, the French seemed to rather like firing above their ranks rather than directly at them. This greatly helped their survival rate and allowed them to get up close and personal. One of the farmers famed for this battle was named John Smith, and unlike the others, he had his afternoon pint, and it showed. Blood drunk, and aware he had to be up at 4 in the morning to feed the bloody chickens, John Smith went on a violent rampage. He also managed to steal a French bow, and kept it safely on the end of his pitchfork, to show to his son later. His son, coincidentally, was also named John Smith. And so were all the sons that came after him. John Smith soon developed a reputation, and along with his fellow farmers, he was employed into the British ranks. They charged en masse and pushed back the enemy lines. Coincidentally, this is also how the game rugby was formed. Imagine that. Such rich history. Such pride in my ancestry. Anyway, guys, that was totally accurate Battle Simulator, and what can I say? It was totally accurate, and it simulated the battles. Go sign up to its alpha now, it's great fun. Anyway, stay coy.